Web 2.0 and social media, evolving web. Well, this week we're going to be discussing how Web 2.0 has really changed the way we do business, in more than just an evolving web, but the impact of that evolving web on businesses. If you're not familiar with what Web 2.0 is, it's a term that was coined by Tim O'Reilly during a conference in 2004. Many of the what's referred to as Web 2.0 technologies, some of them existed and were being used before then, but this term was coined around that time in referencing this change in the web, going from a information-based web to an interactive, collaborative environment. There was the supply of content started shifting from being solely a web page that was developed, uploaded, placed on the web for others to view, and it was not very interactive, but it was informative, to this shift to others providing content, where you would see Amazon was one of the first to really implement a rating system, where others are evaluating their products and providing content for that product. And actually, Amazon was doing this much before that term was coined. So application development shifted from using more web technologies versus desktop applications. So if you look at many of the applications that you use on a day-to-day basis now, you may be surprised how many of them you're actually using that are just web-based or based on web technologies. They launch a browser and run from within that browser in using technologies that are centered around browser technologies. So examples of Web 2.0 applications. These are some more well-known examples. There are countless examples out there, but I just put together a quick list of ones that are frequently used that you may be more familiar with. YouTube, Google Drive, Twitter, Flickr, Craigslist, Blogger, eHow, WordPress, Digg, Pandora, Pinterest, Instagram. Those are just some of a very, very lengthy list that's growing every day. So social web, when we refer to the term social web, it's really referring to the ability to communicate across the web. The web has become a very social environment once the shift from just being a content supplier to being more of a collaborative, communicative effort happened. You started seeing podcasting, blogging, tagging, social bookmarking, social networking, even web content voting, crowdsourcing, all these means of communicating, providing content, going back and forth, and sharing ideas to where everybody is a contributor to growing the web, providing information, and growing, developing ideas. So technologies used in Web 2.0 include Ajax, which is really just an asynchronous form of a browser being able to take content in that you supply, and then they can provide new information on that page without actually going back to the server. So it's a client-side a change. So that Ajax really opened up a lot of capabilities on the web that previously were more difficult or taxing to do. JavaScript, which has been around for some time, and really is kind of the underlying technology for a lot of these that they're using. The YUI library has been around for some time, in essentially YUI Dojo, MoTools, jQuery, all of those are libraries that we can reference. I do web development, and quite often we're calling in libraries of files that allow us to do things that would otherwise take tons of time to develop. So we're drawing on the resources of a greater community, and most of these communities that we're drawing on are open source communities. So there's a lot of developers contributing to these ideas, and these libraries are continuously growing, but they're common libraries that when you want to perform an action on a page, we can call that library. If you wanted to build your own slider on a website that brought in an image, overlaid some text, transitioned it out, you can do that through calling some jQuery functions, and you're not having to write the code that's involved in doing that, which is quite extensive for something that seems so simple to be as complicated as it is. Sharing data via XML and JSON. These are just methods or syntaxes that you can share content. Extensible markup language and XML allows you to tag content and create your own tags. So you can structure that data. It can be sent and received to other sites, or you could receive from another site. You see this done in RSS feeds, Atom feeds, things like that, where you could have a reader that's completely separate of the site that you're pulling in and parsing that content, but it's all in a format that you're able to read because they're using a language like XML or JSON. So, as a business owner, what does this really mean? How does it affect you if you are running your own business or are part of growing a business? Web 2.0 has radically changed the way most businesses are doing business today. It allows you to crowdsource. You can reach out to your community and you can find out information that was otherwise so complex, expensive, or difficult to do. You can find it out in really inexpensive methods of pulling communities, and in finding out what really is important to your customer base. Allows you to more easily market. For brand awareness, if you've got social media that you're connecting with your customers and you're providing details about your product, that's one thing. But if you're providing it as a support channel and you're allowing other customers to contribute to that support channel, you're using your customer base to grow something that's organic, that reduces your expenses, but it also will in many cases provide quicker support. Just the other day I had purchased an item off of Amazon, and another potential customer had a question about the product because the listing was slightly confusing. I received an email saying, hey, you recently purchased such and such on Amazon, and it was a endoscope camera, and they were confused by the length of it. I got the email and I thought, why not? I responded to the Amazon listing or the question that interestingly enough ends up in kind of a frequently asked questions of the product, but I answered the user and got back an immediate thanks. That's what I needed to know. So in essence, as a customer, I probably helped sell a product that would have required more resources on their end to support. So the other thing that Web 2.0 really helps with is product development. If you're putting out a potential idea, you can instantly, and this goes along with crowdsourcing, receive feedback about that idea, and maybe quickly find out whether or not the community responds well to it or doesn't respond well at all to it, whether or not you need to continue down that trail. Promotional materials, we are well aware of how promotions are used within social media. You see Facebook starting to capitalize on this more and more these days. It's interesting how they recently implemented things like attaching the opportunity to purchase a gift for someone on their birthday when they provide their birthday reminder. And that's just a means in which they're capitalizing on that knowledge. Training. Many of the products that I've purchased off the web, that whether they're IT products or multimedia devices or whatever, I'll go to YouTube, or I'll go to the product channel, or whatever way that they have of communicating that information, or other users are communicating that information. But I'll receive training for that product through Web 2.0 sites, where somebody has contributed, whether it's the other end users or customers or the product supplier themselves. Product confidence. Early on in the web development stages, and it's not such the case anymore with younger generations that have become just accustomed to purchasing online, but as I would develop sites for companies, one of our biggest battles was just consumer confidence to purchase off the web. And because it was so new to be purchasing items off the web, and many individuals would review products, and they would figure out what they wanted to buy, but they were afraid to commit to buying over the web. That's changed dramatically over the past 8-10 years. But one of the things that assist in confidence in users is product ratings. Amazon really latched onto this and was probably the first really successful example of using ratings and allowing customers to find out what others thought about the product. If I'm buying a high dollar item, I typically will look at product reviews of Amazon. If it's a computer device, I will likely look at Newegg and find out what their customer base says about it, as for the most part their reviews are from a more nerdy perspective, if I may. And so it increases my consumer confidence before I make that purchase. Collaboration. In business environments, as we've become more of a global society and global marketplace, Web 2.0 has really helped that transition, and is likely the main contributor to becoming a global economy. We're able to support larger bases of customers using wikis, blogs, podcasts, and video sharing. In many respects, you can find wikis that are in multiple languages, where contributors from various countries are continuously supplying additional content and information to help with that business's products. Blogs are just another way of communicating. and at least communicating ideas. If you're an individual that's attempting to sell something, and you see a lot of blogs on some of the more infomercial-like items, and you see it on numerous things, but it really seems like the infomercial that we knew in the past is starting to shift to more of an infomercial blog that also a lot of times will use some podcasting as well, or video sharing. Content development. Business environments have changed dramatically in how content is developed because it's done in a more collaborative effort. I know that when I work on project quotes or proposals, a lot of times I'll work through Google Drive, and I'll develop out that quote or proposal while someone else is also reviewing it or contributing and adding to it as well. Project management, you may be familiar with project management tools like Basecamp, where the project can be assigned to people. It can be assigned resources, tracked, and all sorts of stuff. But businesses are using that means of tracking and project management, and everybody's able to, not everybody, but whoever is assigned access or permissions is able to see the various work and what's going on in a more instantaneous format. And of course, communications has greatly changed. Now we can hop on a video call or a video conference with great ease. If you're using Google Hangouts, you can communicate halfway across the world, or in a collaborative workspace. You can screen share. I know I've worked on websites where another developer that was working with me would be in another city, and we would sit down and start screen sharing and working through things, and have a video chat going as well, so we could talk throughout the development process. So what's next? You know, the web continuously evolves, and some would argue that we've already entered this Web 3.0 environment. And the argument for that says that the web technologies are already providing information to us before we even need it. An example of this would be if you're looking at your phone, and many of you, especially if you have a Droid device, have probably seen this if you're using Google and allowing them to provide, the name is slipping my mind right now, but you'll look down and it'll tell you your drive time to work or to the office or home, or if you've frequented somewhere out of town and you appear to be on your way to that, they'll already try to tell you your drive time. Google Cards, I think is what it's called. You'll also see when your favorite sports teams are playing. If you've got investments in the stock market, they'll give you updates on that. If they've recognized that you've recently purchased tickets, flight information or anything like that's pertinent to those tickets will show up in your Google Cards. Things like refrigerators that are tied into networks that automatically order filters or send you a reminder about your filters. Coupons for restaurants that you're walking past. A lot of those things are is information essentially being fed to you rather than you having to even go and look for it. Alright, so that was just a little synopsis of Web 2.0 and some of the directions that we're going. I'd love to hear where you see us going in the next 10 years? What sort of things do you see? There's a lot of technology on the front. There's a lot of growth in augmented reality and wearing wearable devices that interact with your day-to-day operations that allow you to send and receive information based on your location or interest, or what you happen to be looking at the time, or all the way to self-driving vehicles, to all sorts of stuff on the forefront. So it'd be really interesting to hear your ideas of